how are you like sustaining yourself like financially?
Doing things like this, and I'm just gonna run out of money. I don't have a job. I don't have anything else. But one really important thing is that I want to be able to keep the courses free. So I want to make all the courses free.
All right, Nadi, thanks so much for joining us. Now, tell everyone just a little bit of an overview about you and what you're building with Framer University for the few people who aren't familiar with you.
So it's not a long story. My name is Nandi. I'm 20 years old. I'm turning 21 this August, and yeah, I came across Framer last year, and I had the exact same I don't know reaction to it as many other people had to. So I was really excited about it. I couldn't believe that this is something real, and I'm a type of person who likes building things around stuff that I like using and I like and I enjoy. So that's why I decided that I want to do something more with Framer, and that's why I started Framer University. Because back then when I started, it wasn't a long time ago. It was in January, and when I started, there wasn't many educational content around it. So that's why I was like, okay, I'm gonna build Framer University, and I want to be the number one place to learning Framer. So yeah, that's what I'm building since then, and everything is going great.
Yeah, that's super awesome, dude. Yeah, super ambitious too. I mean, for 20 years old. So to give you context, I'm 22, and just to do a little bit, I did a little bit of research before this, and I see you were like already like creating content on like Instagram, and you already had some previous success there, which is super interesting. And I kind of come from a similar background where I also had a lot of success on Instagram earlier on, creating content and carousels and things like that. Like,
Yeah,
keen to know, like, yeah, a little bit like prior to Framer, like, how did you even get into this, at a young age into the design industry? Like, were you doing freelance sites? Had you have experience with other no code tools like Webflow?
so I was always interested in creating stuff and being creative, and that's why at a really young age I started learning, video editing tools, different photo editing tools like Photoshop,
For sure.
Sony Vegas. I think Sony Vegas was the first video editing tool that I learned.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, so it was a great time. It was a great time, and yeah, so it was a really important part of my life because I learned how to learn things by myself, by just watching YouTube videos, and yeah, I always enjoyed creating little projects. I had various different YouTube channels, and I realized later on that the first thing when I started these projects was always to create a logo for it and the branding and how it will look. So it was really, it was always a really important part for me to have great visual, I don't know, branding for my projects and a great logo, which these things weren't great back then. I just thought they are great, but I was everyone has to start somewhere, and and yeah, I was doing these things, and when I was around 17 or 18, I had to decide what do I want to do with my life, because I was in high school, and then most people go to university, so I had to come up with the university that I want to go into, and yeah, that's how I came up with like a graphic design university, because I was thinking about my past, and I was like, I think this is something that I would enjoy. But then, and so I started preparing myself and learning more things about design, and I think that was the time when I really started uh, learning these things and focusing on them, because before that I was learning these tools, but I wasn't really focused on graphic design or design in particular. So this was the time. It was around 2020 when I really started focusing on these things, but then I couldn't get into that university, and so I started a different graphic design school, and at the same time I started designing my Instagram page, because I also knew that I want to do something online. I want to build an audience, because I knew that if I build an audience, then I can monetize that and make money with that. And because I'm also really entrepreneurial, and so I started that Instagram page at the same time, and then I went into that other graphic design school. And 6 months into that graphic design school, I decided that I want to just finish it. I don't want to, go into school anymore, because at that time my Instagram account had like, I don't know, it was around 30,000 followers or 40, and so I had different opportunities to make money with it. And so I just decided I'm not gonna go to school anymore, because I'm also a person who cannot really focus on multiple things. So if I have to go to school and also care about those things, it just kills my productivity. So yeah, I finished school, or not finished. I just stopped going to school in 2022 March. I think it was last year March. So it's a bit over a year now, and yeah, since then I'm doing these different projects. But I'm not doing the designing anymore, the Instagram page. I'm just focusing on the Framer University right now.
Yeah, that's awesome. Would you consider yourself more of a would you consider yourself more of a creator or a designer?
It depends. So what do you think? What's the difference between these two?
Personally, what I've seen at heart with a lot of sort of like content-led businesses, specifically in the design niche, is that the creators are there to like they want to create content. They care less so about like pushing pixels on a page and more so about creating this impact and actually creating attention and building a community and building an audience around this often or not larger vision that someone has, compared to what I would describe a quote unquote designer as, which is someone who wants to, do client work and push pixels around on a page and, make things look pretty and solve problems visually, but doesn't have the aspirations to actually go build, a company or content that actually is influential to, one to thousands of people.
Yeah. I think I'm a mix of both. It's really interesting because I think I have like a creator side, because I also really feel bad if I'm not pushing out content, because I just know that I'm just really like, I really care about consistency. And when it comes to design, I also like, it's the same when it comes to design, and when it comes to like pushing out content, consistency is really important to me. So I if I skip a day, it just cannot happen. So, but at the same time, I'm also enjoy doing it. So like I enjoy creating content, and I enjoy putting out content. So yeah, and at the same time, I also like designing things. So for example, right now I'm just working on the learning platform where I'm gonna host my free framework course, and I really do enjoy doing that too. So I like making things nice and designing things. However, I also know that I don't really enjoy working for clients. So it's fun when I'm working for myself, and it's kind of like the same, because I also run into problems. I have to solve issues, but I worked for clients in the past, and I figured that it's not really for me. I just when I'm designing for myself. So for example, this, like, I haven't slept. So it's in the morning, but I haven't slept during the night. I was just doing it, but I couldn't do this for a client. I cannot get so excited about a client project that I can when it comes to a personal project that I really do because of passion and because I really want to do it. So yeah, I think that's how I could describe myself.
No, I think there's something really motivating about scratching your own itch and having that, big problem that you really want to solve or just thing that you're really passionate about. I think all designers can kind of resonate with that. Like, you don't want to, we're creatives at heart. So we don't just want to build stuff for other people. We actually want to build it for our own vision and what we actually inspire to create. And I think one of the really cool things that you kind of touched on there is around quantity of content and how consistency is really important to you. Now, anyone who's actually taken a look at your YouTube videos, just content on Twitter or anything like that, knows that the caliber of content is, from a content perspective, but also a production perspective, like extremely high quality. Like you can see the time and energy that goes into every single piece of content that you push out. Even like some of the previews that you've been sharing for Framing University, like it is all very high tier. Now, the problem with that is that like we live in such a content is king world where it's very saturated and people just want more and more and more and more, and everything's so fast paced. So I'm really interested to hear from your perspective, like how you manage like content over, quality versus quantity, and how you can kind of define the two between not spending too much time on something that, when it performs, that it doesn't, get the results you want, or maybe it does, but like, how do you kind of manage like juggling, creating content consistently with an extremely high level of quality?
You just have to come up with the right numbers and the right quantity, because I couldn't post a YouTube video every single day of the week. I know that, like, I might be able to do it, but it wouldn't be the quality that I would like to produce. So I just think about this: what is the quantity that I can still make sure that the quality is great, and I can also do the quantity. So that's how I come up with the numbers, and that's why I'm not doing a YouTube video every single day. I just start creating something, and when I feel like it is on a level that I feel comfortable sharing, then I'm gonna just share it. And also if, like, yeah, I'm not gonna talk more about this. That's it. So you just have to come up with these numbers, and if you know that you have that quality that you like to produce, then I think then everything is cool.
Yeah, for sure. So Framer, right? Like Framer University to me is like such a intriguing concept, and like your vision for it, I think is like super clear, of like creating like the number one place to learn Framer. Like I think that's really intriguing. Like really interested to like just know the journey to date of that product and that, I guess, business that you're building, and like ultimately like where you want to take it and what that looks like over the next 3 years, 10 years, whatever it looks like.
I don't really have that, like, I don't have plans for 2 years, so I'm not really that type of person. I always like to go with the flow. I do make plans, but I just don't like making plans for 2 years, because I know that things will always change, and maybe something else. I have another idea or something, and I'm just gonna be sidetracked. So I just always try to pick the things that I feel like the great opportunities at the moment, and I just try to build on those. Um, and I plan basically with Framer University for now is releasing these 3 courses. The first one is releasing this August, so next month, and yeah, I want to release more free courses. So this is going to be Framer Fundamentals. It's going to be on learn.framer.university, and basically that's going to be a free course about the basics of Framer. So I'm going to cover all the basics. I'm going to go through all the different features, and I'm going to cover the basics of those features. Talking about the layout and the user interface of Framer, talking about layout and positioning, talking about components and interactions and effects. So I think that's going to be a really great starting point for every single beginner who's starting out with Framer. And it's a course that covers the basics, but it's still like 3.5 hours, so it's quite long. And so yeah, and then I'm gonna be creating free courses around the CMS, the website building process itself, and then I'm gonna also be creating a course that focuses on interactions and animations and different effects in Framer, how you can create cool looking websites with, cool interactions. And yeah, that's the plan for now. And I'm also gonna launch live classes. So the paid programs will be live classes. Um, and that's how I am planning to make money with the project. And yeah, that's the plan for now.
That's awesome. Like you're fairly invested in Framer, which is something that I just like truly admire and love. Like from your own time capacity, like is this like 100% of your focus right now? Or are you like how are you like sustaining yourself like financially? Uh, is it just all Framer University?
Yeah, yeah. I'm actually really. I I started tweeting about this idea live classes because it wasn't because I really wanted to do this. I want to do this, but I would probably do them a bit later, because I just feel like I just have too much things. But I need to make it because I realized that if I continue doing things like this, I'm just gonna run out of money. And because I'm not only just living my life, but I'm also investing heavily into the project. So and I'm doing this full time, so I don't have a job, I don't have anything else. I also stopped doing the Instagram. I could make money from that, but I also stopped doing that because I had to make that decision, because I know that if there's two things, then you cannot do 100% on both projects. So that's why I'm only focusing on Frame University. And yeah, I'm really at a point where I feel like I have to start making money with it. But yeah, my strategy and my vision was that I have to start giving first. So I started giving in January. I wanted to establish myself as a an authority figure in the community. To someone, if someone asks where should I learn Framer, I would like people to say Framer University. And I knew that I can do that if I push out enough free, high quality content, and that's what I was doing. But now I have to come up with some things that I can monetize this project with. So
Yeah,
yeah.
for sure. Like, do you treat it like as a startup? Like, do you consider cash flow and burn rate? And even though it might just be internal to you and a couple of, expenses, I imagine it would be, somewhat light to run without like, is it just you running from a university or is there is there other people behind the scenes?
No, it's just me. But I really want to, like, for example, like I want to make, for example, like I don't know, 3 YouTube videos per week. That would be something that I think I could consistently keep up doing, but that would require me to hire a video editor. And so that's also a reason for me to like start somehow making money with this, because then I can build this whole thing even bigger, and I can push out more content. So say, because I could film 3 videos, but I couldn't edit them. So like it's half day usually, like 6 hours to just edit one video, which is already recorded. So so yeah, I want to like hire people, but I cannot do it just yet because I'm working with a developer on the learning platform, but that's all I can afford at the moment. So yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, I like the fact that you're like fully bootstrapping it and you're just like fully committed to it. I think it's like really great. Like longer term, you mentioned live classes as a way of monetization for the business model. Is there anything like else you've thought of in particular of in terms of like how you actually want to generate revenue and actually build a sustainable business out of Framing University?
That's the only thing that I'm thinking about, more things, different things for making this project, to monetize this project. But the live classes is the only thing that I can confidently say at the moment that they will come at some point in the coming months. I'm also having ideas for other things, but those are not really those are not really certain, so I don't want to talk about those because those are still flexible. But I do have ideas for other things too.
Yeah, that's super awesome.
But one really important thing is that I want to be able to keep the courses free. So I want to make all the courses free, and I want to monetize the project with different things, so live classes and other things that I don't want to talk about at the moment.
Yeah, for sure. And I think you're kind of like model behind it of give some more, give some more, give some more, and then ask is the right approach. And I think that's just your like content creation background, just like playing its charm of just like, how to create good content and how to build an audience. And more importantly, then how to monetize that. Like that's a skill set in itself that I think you do extremely well. So I'm sure as soon as you put up a paywall for a product, like it's gonna, fly off the wall like crazy. Which actually, from doing some more research, it actually looked like you did launch a template at one point. And what I loved about it was just your transparency on it. You launched this template, you didn't necessarily get the results that you're particularly asking for. But I think like as part of the journey and as part of the content, like I found that extremely valuable and like enticing to you as a creator because of that vulnerability that you did share. Are you able to talk about just like that process you went through of like creating this template and like what your kind of like reaction was after the initial launch?
Yeah, so uh, of course I was expecting more sales, so that's why my idea was back then to, okay, I'm gonna make this template so I can finally start making some money, so I can finally invest more back into the project, and that didn't happen. And in that tweet, I outlined some of the reasons, because I could have done things differently to maybe achieve better results, because there are templates that are selling for multiple thousands of dollars every single month, and yeah, so it's not, it definitely is something that I didn't do the right way. And also there was a part of that, like I'm building Framer University. People are following me because of the knowledge and for the education, and maybe they are not the right audience for templates. But that's just a small part. I think I still should have made more sales if I did certain things better. But my reaction was that it wasn't that great, because if you expect something and you get something else, you are, I don't know, a bit like you cannot do really anything with the situation because you are quite shocked. But it wasn't that bad, because what you need to understand is that I was already doing the Instagram before, and I already experienced these kind of things there. So when you launch an icon pack and I don't know, you make 2 sales or 1 sale, like I already had these experiences, which was really valuable, because it made me it made me like more. I was able to like just focus on the things that are coming and just focus on the future. Because, for example, when I was doing the Instagram and I launched that icon pack and I made like 1 or 2 sales, I remember that I was really like I couldn't work on things for like weeks because I felt really bad. Like I felt like I'm putting my work into something over multiple weeks, and then I just launched and nothing really happens. So yeah, but it was like it was 1 or 2 days and I could like focus on the things that are coming. So yeah, I was just trying to learn from it, and that's it.
Yeah, that's awesome. What are your thoughts on like the current like creator economy for Framer? Like I think there's been a lot of hype recently around Framer, and obviously big uptake over the past, 6, even 3 months around Framer. And within that, there's been, a ton of different creators that have tried to come to the surface or are coming to the surface who, want to sell templates or they want to start their own audience or things like that. Just from your experience, like, do you have any sort of like advice or strategies or even like concerns about building a product-led business?
What do you mean?
Well, there's a lot of creators like, for example, I think templates, the Framer team, we get over like 100, 150 template submissions a week. Like there's a lot of people who are trying to turn their Framer skill set into a side hustle or a business. Framer University being a key example of that. Like from your experience, like do you have any tips to actually get started actually creating a side hustle with Framer?
Yeah, I don't know, just like if you just try to like look at what I did, for example, and just try to do it maybe in a different, niche or something. So, I'm educating people how to use Framer and how to build websites with it. But you can niche down more on some more specific thing, and just start sharing valuable content consistently. And I think that's it. Like I remember when I was building Instagram, and people were like DMing me and asking for advice. I always just said this, like I cannot really tell more. I think that's all. You need to be consistent. You need to be pushing out quality content that is valuable for your audience, so they will actually follow you and be excited about what you are going to post next time. And yeah, I think that's it. And then you have to come up with something that you can monetize your audience with. This could be templates or like courses. You could also be like a freelancer who is or build an agency around Framer and just build Framer websites for clients. So these, and we are still really early. So like Framer will be much more bigger. And I think if someone starts right now, and if they do it the right way, then they can achieve great things.
Yeah, 100%. All right, before we wrap up, I've got a couple of like quick fire questions I'd love to ask you, mostly around like Framer and the product. And so my first question is like, what is one feature you would love to see built in Framer or built into Framer?
I think I would need to like keep a document where I write down all these things. But one thing I can say is that, for example, right now I'm working on the learning platform, and I had to use the CMS now even more because like I started working on Framer.university website, which I haven't released yet, but it is like 80% ready. And I was using the CMS, and I was like I could do all the things that I wanted to, but right now here I had some things that I couldn't really do exactly how I wanted to. So right now, that for this reason, I think that the team needs to focus on the CMS and just make it much more powerful. I would like to filter the CMS collections in a more advanced way. I would like to have different sorting options and even like more fields in the CMS. So these things I think will be really, really helpful and could open more possibilities to build even more complex websites with Framer. So I think that's a really, really big thing. And I always like when I'm building things, I always like have these thoughts that okay, this is something that we need in Framer, but I never write them down and I always forget them. So yeah, but I'm just gonna stay the CMS now.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. I have so for our team, we have like a Discord server where we all chat, and I've literally, my team set up a brain dump, just a brain dump channel for me. And like anytime I have like an idea or something, I just like put it in there, and then they'll just like sort it for me. And it's been just like a game changer, just for me, just like for all those random moments that you have in a shower or like using the product or whatever, you just like make a quick note and then it's saved and then it's done and it's listed in one place. Yeah, I highly recommend you just start a doc and just have a brain dump area.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that's it. I mean, the last thing I wanted to ask you, Nandi, and again, thank you so much for your time. I think it's just been a really valuable talk into just learning about your process with Framer University, what's to come, and more importantly, like how the Framerverse is being built and what that means for creators building in Framer. My last question to you is like, if you had to change anything over the past 6 months since January and starting Framer University, like, is there anything you would change? Have you made a mistake that you'd want to fix up?
Uh, I probably I probably made some mistakes. Uh, I'm gonna say this because I cannot really answer this more accurately because I just rarely think about the past. So even if I made a mistake, I just focused on the future and I kept going. So, but maybe doing the template differently to maybe achieve bigger success with it. That could be like something that I can say here. Yeah, and maybe something else. For example, I was planning to start, posting YouTube videos in January, and I didn't do that. So like my first ever post, if you go back to January 1st, and it was a thread, and if you check the last tweet, it said that my first YouTube video is coming next week. and and I started posting April 27th or something. So yeah, so yeah. So for example, that's something that that would have been cool to like start in January. It would have made a big difference, but I don't really stress about it too much. So yeah, as I said, I just focus on the future and yeah, just keep going.
For sure. That's awesome. And Nandi, where can people best connect with you?
I think I should say Framer. Sorry, Framer. No, Twitter. Yeah, twitter.com/learnframer, Framer University. I think that's the best way because that's my main platform at the moment. I'm also doing YouTube and Twitter, and I'm also planning to do Instagram in the future and maybe TikTok too. But for now, it's just Twitter and YouTube. So if you have any questions or you just want to chat, you can DM me on Twitter, and I'm gonna be hopefully answering you.
Awesome.